Hello. Welcome back to the Elyse DeLucci Show, episode 106. We're here in my living room on the Upper East Side as usual. Fact of the day. There was a king in Egypt in 2200 BC, King Pepi II. You know what this horror show did to his slaves? Well, King Pepi II didn't like flies, right? He didn't like flies bothering him. So he slathered his slaves in honey. That was what he did on a daily basis. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, you know what? Instead of people, I don't know, trying to say all kinds of crazy shit to their worst enemies, doing all this crazy shit to people, why don't you just go cover your enemies in honey? That'll be torture. Let the flies eat them alive. But what a nasty ass. And out of all the things this guy did, he probably did good things. But here we are. Here we are. We're talking about him. Why? The one most miserable thing, it's human torture. That's worse than anything. Let the bugs eat you alive. Obviously they didn't have citronella candles back then, but why couldn't he take one of these marble lions or these marble sphinxes that are all over the place? Maybe they're made out of sand. Why couldn't he drizzle a little honey on those bad boys? You're a brat. That's why, King Pepi II. Anyway, how was your Father's Day weekend? Was it good? We had Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Everybody had off a day of, I guess, reflection and relaxation. I took my daughters to Central Park. We had a great day. They were off of school. I was not working. Also, over the weekend, I had my daughter's 8th birthday. I can't believe it. It wasn't her real birthday. It was her birthday party, because for the friends and all that. I took the kids to ceramics. We had a great time. Here's the thing, though. You're not prepared for birthday party prices until you become a mother. I was like, how much could ceramics be for a few kids? I don't know. They go pick the thing, they pick the thing they paint, and they sit down and they paint it, and then they dry it, and they all go home with a jewelry box or a Rapunzel statue or something like that. $45 for these little shit jewelry boxes that these kids were painting, and they don't even put it in the kiln after. No, they just take a painted up old scratchy blow dryer and blow dry it dry, and they say, "Here, kid." They throw it in a bag. "Here, kid." I'm surprised they didn't. You know what? They probably charged me for that bag. They probably, because New York City, no plastic bag. They probably charged me for that bag that they had to put that ceramic beauty in. And then, of course, my younger daughter, Vivian, what did she do? Next day, broke it all over the floor, shattered into a million pieces. Here's the thing that had me so irate about this place. It's an adorable place, by the way. Craft Studio in Manhattan. It's on 3rd Avenue, I think in like the low 90s or something, but it's an adorable place. It's really one of the last places that you can have birthday parties for kids in the city, because, these places, they can't survive with the rent, which is why they charge $45 for a, 1-inch square cube jewelry box. But what made me crazy is that they have 3 big shelves of these unpainted ceramics that the kids could choose from, right? And all the kids, they're so excited. They're so cute. I want to paint this. I want to paint the moon. I want to paint the piggy bank. Da, da, da. Great. And, there wasn't a lot of kids. This is the first birthday party my daughter had in 2 years. How sad was that, right? How sad How sad is that? So I said to the kids, just pick whatever you want. It's fine. Pick whatever you want. And then as they're painting, I look at the shelf and I see all the way down at the bottom shelf, they had wooden jewelry boxes that were, wait for it, half the price. Why can't we paint a wooden jewelry box? Those kids don't know a difference. And in fact, your wooden jewelry box, it would last a hell of a lot longer than this ceramic thing that's going to chip and break in my younger daughter's case. But they don't want to do that because they can't charge you $45 for a plywood jewelry box, I guess. But God, what a racket. You don't pay per head. You don't pay to paint. You just pay for the thing. Oh, say living. There was a time when I was spending my money on, I don't know, $2,000 tote bags with a dead person's initials on them, drinking top shelf everything. And now I'm spending all my money on all this kind of crap tchotchkes, okay? And I'm eating Kirkland brand everything. Have kids, they said it's going to be fun. No, it is fun. It is. It's fun. And they're cute, and the 8-year-old girls, they're at that age, where they're like, oh, boys, ew, gross. But then, someone's like, we should play Never Have I Ever. Have you ever kissed a boy? And, I was like, well, kissing. Hello, girls. Let's back that thing up. No, they are cute. Speaking of, let me say this, okay? So we're in Central Park, right, yesterday. And I can't, I'm always worried about like who's listening. But anyway, one of my daughters meets up with a friend, and the friend has a sister. Okay. And all the girls start playing, and they're like kind of roughhousing. So I shout out, girls, be careful, girls, be careful. Mommy's watching. And then one of the little kids pops up and she says to me, I'm non-binary. And my pronouns are they and them. Swear to God. And I got to be honest with you, because we're family here. I did not know what to say. And it's not because this is the first time I'm hearing this. Hello, I live in Manhattan. Hello, we hear about this all day long. It's the first time that I experienced having a child tell me that they were non-binary and telling me what their pronouns were. So of course I corrected myself and I said, okay, everybody be careful. And I had to be very careful by saying, whatever. I didn't use any pronouns. I just referred to the child by name. And, and then as all the kids are playing, right? I can't say girls, all the kids are playing. This child, non-binary child, starts saying to my daughters, what's your pronouns? My older daughter's like, I don't know what pronouns are. Anyway, runs away. And it was very cute, but it was also one of those moments of like, how old do your kids need to be where you start talking to them about this gender fluid pronouns and the difference between sex and gender. And I'm not taking any stances. We all know everybody's so goddamn political these days. You can't say anything. In fact, I'm probably going to get hate mail because I'm talking about a ceramics place charging me for bags, right? People can say, how dare you expect businesses to incur the cost of a bag? But I probably feel about the gender and children subject as you probably feel. And you know what? If somebody let me pick my gender, okay, at 8, 9, 13, the height of rebellion, okay, when Drew Barrymore cut her hair short, remember, she was wearing all those plastic baby clips and it was so cool. This was like My So-Called Life was on TV with Claire Danes and Jared Leto. I was so sick of conforming in high school that I just came home one day. I chopped all my hair off into one of these like really chic Drew Barrymore 90s cuts, And my father looks at me and he's like, he was actually like, what the hell did you do to your hair? What the hell did you do to your hair? You know what you look like? And insert curse word here. And you know what? Whatever. That was my father. He's from a different generation. But I wanted to not conform. I didn't want to be the same as everybody else. And I'm sure if somebody said you could be non-binary, I would have marched around saying non-binary. I probably wouldn't answer my parents if they were referring to me as a pronoun. I would probably be like, refer to me as thing. I don't answer to anyone. But I was so dramatic. I was theater. My idol was Barbra Streisand. At 16 years old, there I was sitting with my boyfriend's mother singing People Need People, like on his bed. I mean, that's who I was. I would do anything. I do not think, okay, that these kids should be, I don't know, making these giant life decisions at such a young age. There, I said my opinion. And I'm sure, let the hate mail roll in. I'll deal with it. Okay. But you know what? Everybody runs their household differently. I will talk to my children about this stuff. I will educate them. I will tell them how we're all different and mommy loves you regardless. And you could be this, that, and the other thing. But it was a jarring moment. You read about that. We read about this kind of stuff. Let me get a sip. This dessert. I need a coffee. Hold on. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I got a mug made. And it says Elyse DeLucci. And it's a picture of a chubby girl with purple hair looking like she's auditioning for the chorus line. Anyway, talk about a show. Okay, back to the subject. Look, it was just the first time I experienced this. We're reading about it all over the place. We're hearing about it. We all have our opinions. I'm just not comfortable with it, I guess, yet for my kids. I'm not comfortable having those conversations. You know what other conversations I'm not comfortable with having with my kids? Periods, sex, porn. I mean, they have access to the World Wide Web when they're on mommy's phone. And what the hell am I going to do if all of a sudden they find you porn or Pornhub? What the hell am I going to do? Better start thinking. Better start thinking. Ladies of the world, guess who is on the market? Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google. He's also the seventh richest man in the world. Get your wallets open, girls. Sergey Brin, he's worth $90 billion. He was married for 4 short years. Boo-hoo. And, fun fact, they bought Pink's mansion in Malibu for $13 million back in 2020, him and his then wife. But they're separated. Apparently, they've been separated for a year. And you know what? A lot of people got separated post-pandemic or during pandemic. I'm not surprised. But what I am always continually surprised on, or I should say, we should dispel the myth that money doesn't buy happiness, because this broad could have had anything she wanted. 90 bill. Come on, lady. But you know what? When you get past, we've talked about this before, when you get past a certain amount of money, it doesn't, come on. Once you get in fact, the stat for the United States, I think, is $75,000. Once you make over $75,000, your basic needs and basic wants are taken care of. So you don't, if you make 76,000 versus 106,000 a year or whatever, it doesn't have that much effect. I do not think that is the right number for where I live in Manhattan, because $75,000 a year, listen, it's a salary. It's a good salary. It's a nice salary. But I'm telling you, you better have a pension if you got a $75,000 a year job. You better have union benefits if you have a $75,000 a year job. I don't. And all I'm going to say is $75,000 a year. I don't know what I'd be able to buy. And that's not me putting down that amount of money. It's just, come on. I want to know what the amount of money you need to live comfortably in New York City, or basically any major metropolitan area. Sergey doesn't have this problem though. Okay. But his wife, you know what? And good for him, by the way. He's if you want to know his stats, he's not bad looking. He's pretty handsome. He's in his late 40s. I think he's 48. His soon to be ex-wife is in her late 30s. She's an attorney. Yay. I love that he didn't go for some gold digging hoe. And by the way, he was married prior, and his wife prior, I'm forgetting her name. I think her name was Susan. She is the founder of 23andMe. So, but you know what? You find that in tech. Because that's where I was most of my career. You find that in tech, men like smart women, and women like smart men, and they stick together, and that's nice. It's only in other businesses where you see, these 75-year-old, men going around with these 2-year-old girls. I mean, I can't. You know what I did this weekend, by the way? I had a few hours of science class with my kids. And this is such a good idea if you have children, or if you're babysitting, or if you're a grandparent. Oh my God, you'd be the best grandparent ever if you do this. So I found it online. It's the easiest science experiment ever. You get a bar of ivory soap. It has to be ivory soap. You sit the child down at the table. You give them the bar of the ivory soap. You tell them to unwrap the soap. You put the soap on a plate. Not a paper plate, like a dish. I have these Corelle dishes, like if you throw them on the floor, they don't break. Put the soap in the dish, and then you microwave the soap for 2 minutes, and the soap expands into a giant soap cloud. And when it starts to expand after 20 seconds, so you could see it in the microwave. Put the light on. And after 2 minutes, you get this giant cloud of soap, right, on the plate. And then you could give it to them. And once it cools down, they could play with it. And who cares if it's a mess? Because soap. It does make the house stink like ivory soap, which reminds me of my grandmother for some reason. Ivory soap, the pink Dove soap. Remember the pink Dove soap? And mothballs. That's her scent. Oh, wait. And Clinique's Aromatics Elixir. I don't even think they sell that anymore. But you know what? I should buy it as a reminder for her. But we did that. That was really, really cute. And you know what I love about it is that ivory soap on 99 cents. You throw it on the plate. The kid can't even believe. The other thing that we did was we took their Play-Doh, and they made a little mountain with Play-Doh, little Play-Doh mountain on a baking sheet, by the way. Took a straw, put a hole in the little mountain, so made a volcano, and then sprinkled a little bit of baking powder in that hole. and poured a little white vinegar, and then it blew up like a volcano. You could use lemon juice or anything acidic. Probably orange juice would work too. Oh my God. And they love it. I asked them last night when I was putting them to bed, girls, what was your favorite part of the weekend? And they said the science experiments, the soap cloud. Mommy, we love the soap cloud. I mean, just like, it's like the little things, right? All these stores, they sell all these toys, all this plastic shit will have all over the house, please. You don't even need it. You don't need it. So a few weeks ago, I was telling you about this SPF, tinted moisturizer SPF, La Roche-Posay and Thelos. And I was saying, oh, it's $35. It's on Amazon. Got to get it. Cult product, has like 30,000 reviews. Well, I bought it. Okay. I bought it. I started using it for 2 weeks, breaking out all over my forehead. How the hell am I breaking out? I don't usually break out except every time I go on the freaking Peloton or I do an exercise class, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. I started breaking out. So I was like, this cannot be possible. Stopped using it, breakout, clears up. Started it again, breakout comes back. And I'm just like, oh. So I have 2 more coming today, tinted SPF moisturizer. One is Supergoop, which I read about, I think, in like People magazine, and it probably was some product placement drop. But in fairness, I have had friends that use Supergoop products. And then the other one, which I know is not going to make me break out because I use their moisturizer, is EltaMD. EltaMD, ELTA. That is the brand that all the dermatologists recommend, at least here in Manhattan. And they make it tinted moist. I know it's good because the last time I was at the dermatologist, they had samples, in the waiting room. And, sample, you're supposed to take the samples. You're supposed to take one per person, but I had to take like 10. And, and then of course the secretary, she's like, one sample per client. And I was like, oh yeah, but my skin is so sensitive. And if I don't try the sample for like a week straight, I'm not going to know. So then I'm not gonna be able to buy it. And then if I do get it, I'm going to wind up bringing it back. You're not going to want to give me a refund. And she was like, oh, okay. Oh my God. What are we thinking about the swimming, the global governance body for swimming that has now said transgendered women can no longer swim in the women's races? What do we think about that? I agree. Okay. I agree. I think that they should not be swimming. Okay. They shouldn't be swimming. Transgendered women have an unfair advantage. These men, the way that men are built. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, but if you take hormones, if you have the sex change and if you take hormones, yes, your body's producing estrogen. You get the boobies. Okay. You got the curves. You look good. You look slamming. Nobody needs to know your business, but your bones don't change, right? I mean, am I right? I mean, right? Like if you have broad shoulders, if you're a broad-shouldered man, you have a complete unfair advantage, and you're competing with women that are, that they're 5'2", maybe weighing 110 pounds and have lighter bones. I don't know. I can't. And on the swimsuit note, by the way, in the New York Times, I think it was last weekend, they had an article about bathing suits. Do you know the average woman, the average woman in the U.S. spends $25 on a swimsuit? But the article wasn't necessarily about that. The article was about why do bathing suits tend to be so expensive? I already knew the answer to that, as do you. It's because of the fabric. Everybody knows, okay, I don't like a miracle suit. I don't need a miracle suit. Well, yes, okay, let me rewind. I need a miracle suit. I don't like the miracle suit styles because they look like that. I don't know. My Aunt Ida would be wearing them. I can't, with the flowers and a skirt and then the ruching in the middle. I mean, what am I doing? Why don't I just go to wear the miracle suit and then also wear on top of it one of those T-shirts with the airbrush bikini on it on top of it? Okay, and why don't you just like name me Fanny? But the whole article was about the process on how they make the fabric for bathing suits and why bathing suits are the prices that they are and blah, blah, blah. And I have to say, I, like you, most vulnerable time for us women, bathing suit season. And of course it is. Of course it is. You know why? Of course you want your bathing suits to look good because you're in your bra and underwear. You're in your bra and underwear. You're practically naked in front of the whole goddamn world. By the way, when I was younger, my mother made me play this game with her on the beach. If my sisters are listening, sis, okay, my sisters will laugh. They will not. My mother used to play this game. It was, does she look fatter than me? Or is she fatter than me? This was the game that we played. And my mother would point out women. I don't know. My mother is not fat. But even if she was, it wouldn't matter. But she clearly had some body dysmorphia issues. But I will say I bought all kinds of bathing suits. Like you, I've gone to I go to Target. I always do the stroll through the bathing suit aisle. And by the way, thank God they started coming out with high-waisted bathing suits, because this belly button, the only person that's seeing this belly button is my boyfriend. And that's when the lights are out. Okay. And that's barely, okay, that he's barely seeing it. And also, by the way, worst mistake ever was getting that belly button pierced. Not once, twice, because I didn't like the first positioning of the ring. I mean, I'm a perfectionist. What am I going to do? But every time I go in Target, happy about the high-waisted bathing suits, but it's the fabric. I'll buy the bathing suit. I don't bother trying it on in Target. I'll buy it. I'll say, oh, $30. This is $20. This is cute. And then I go home and it looks just like it just hangs. The fabric just hangs. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't nip. It doesn't tuck. It doesn't pull. It doesn't stretch. And I'll tell you, one bathing suit I bought at Target, very cute, but once I wore it in the water, whole camel toe. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody. But I will say this year for bathing suits, and I might have mentioned it when I got back from my trip to the Caribbean, Victoria's Secret they came back with their swimwear, and they do have some nice high-waisted bathing suits this season. I'm big on top. I'm like a 36 double D. So I like this cup. I used to not like a cup style, but now I like a cup style. And they have this nice cup style Victoria's Secret. And they have a high-waisted brief bottom with the high leg. So, you get that illusion of the leg going up. I love it. And they have it in every color. And also they have another bathing suit that I love this year at Victoria's Secret. Strapless, one piece, ruched middle, but sexy. I bought it in leopard and black because those are the only colors that I operate in. So I don't know, girls. To me, it's worth it buying a $100 bathing suit. I'm not spending a $400 bathing suit at Everything But Water, which is one of the stores near my house on Madison Avenue. I mean, I have, and they could keep it because my size changes all the time. Speaking of clothes, I don't know if you read the post yesterday, but Amber Heard was spotted in TJ Maxx in the Hamptons. And they were saying, oh, Amber Heard, she's broke, or she's crying broke. So she's spotted in TJ Maxx shopping in the women's section for clothes. Here's the thing. When you're a shopper, you don't fall for that shit. Okay? Right? Am I right? I know. The Bridgehampton TJ Maxx is one of the most gorgeous TJ Maxxes I've ever been into in my life. Now, not the Home Goods in this East Hampton. We can get to that in a second. For my Long Island people that are listening, or if you're in the tri-state, whatever, when you go to the Hamptons, do yourself a favor, go to Bridgehampton, and there is a Dunkin' Donuts in the shopping center. I think it's called like the Bridgehampton Commons or something. It's right off of 27, right off the main thing, Montauk Highway. There's a Dunkin' in the shopping center. There's a pizzeria that's not bad when you don't want to spend $10,000 on lunch for you and your kids. And there's a TJ Maxx, and there's a Staples. And I only know that because I had to stop and get some kids' supplies last year. And I found the most gorgeous things at this TJ Maxx. A rag and bone, beautiful red cashmere blazer for like, I don't know, $60. And it retailed for like $400 or $500. It was still on the website. It had like the vents in the back too, so it didn't like look snug. The back of the blazer at the bottom. I loved it. I got a jacket, a nice like spring summer weight long black wrap coat from there for $100 or something like that. You know why? Because the rich neighborhoods always the TJ Maxx and Marshalls stock the better stuff in the rich neighborhoods. It's just what they do. I've gone to god awful neighborhoods. I'll go anywhere for a deal. I love to. I love to shop. I love a good old shopping session. Although, like in person these days, I don't know. I'm so stressed out when you can get it online for cheaper, and not have to spend all the time. But I have gone to such crazy neighborhoods to get deals. And you go to TJ Maxx in a shitty neighborhood, shit's all over the floor, clearance stickers on wrong things they don't take out the red dye tags, and there you go home, you schlep back to your house, and then you got to go back to the shitty. Nobody wants to work in these places. Forget it. So Amber Heard, you're not fooling and you're not broke. You just want to have a good old treasure hunt at the TJ Maxx in Bridgehampton or wherever. That has to be the one that she was at, by the way, because I actually have the paper right here. Let me see. What did it say which one she's at? Because yes, here it is. Heard was shopping at TJ Maxx in Bridgehampton where the average home. Listen to this. Bridge was shopping at TJ Maxx in Bridgehampton where the average home goes for around $3.8 million. Yeah. Okay, Amber Heard. You're not fooling anybody. You're not at TJ Maxx. You're at TJ Maxx because there's no other place to shop in those areas. Okay, that's why. You want to go broke? Go to East Hampton. Go to East Hampton Village, and you'll go broke. Cute stores, but nothing's barely on sale. Now, also on 27, as you're going out to East Hampton, there's Home Goods. I went to that Home Good. They had nothing. Yeah, you know why? Because everybody's buying the stuff for their freaking second homes. That's why. Once again, because they need more stores out there. Come on, people, come on. Also in the newspaper, not in the Post, was one of my favorite advice questions. Oh, I couldn't even believe this question. It was outrageous. This guy says that a lot of people ask him for dining recommendations or activity recommendations. I don't know who the hell is he. What is he, Mr. Zagat himself? That's fine, whatever. A lot of people ask him for recommendations of things, and he loves to give his recommendations. And he said, always the next question after he gives the recommendation, somewhat the person that's listening who asked will say, what is the price point? What are the prices like? And this guy, Mr. Zagat, he's so offended. That he needed to take out his quill and he needed to write the New York Times social columnist, a social graces columnist, this question. And he wants to know, does he have to disclose this information? Why can't he just give a recommendation without telling how much the prices are? Because when he does tell the prices, the people say, oh, I would never spend that, And it's like, okay, guy, really? If you're going to give somebody a recommendation for a hamburger, where's the best place to go to a burger? Why don't you just say, okay, there's J.G. Mellon on the Upper East Side, and they make delicious burgers, and that's what people go there for. Or say has a delicious burger, match 65. But if you want to spend $40 for a burger, by all means go. If you want a lower price point, Silver Star Diner is just as good. Or you know where else? If you're really in a pinch, go to McDonald's. Like, what? Why do you care? I mean, I can only imagine that this guy is just sitting at home in his living room on his tuffet with so much damn time on his hands that he wants to be asked. And he's so proud of his recommendations. But what? You're too good to disclose the price? And I guess that's not his point. His point is when he does disclose the price, people are always shocked. Well, get the stick out of your ass, guy. Why don't you start recommending stuff that the rest of us can afford? What did they say? What did they wind up? The answer was that the columnist's response was, before making a recommendation to your friends, why don't you ask them what your budget is? Oh, God. The columnist spent all of 2 sentences on that reply. Good. This guy has nothing to do. Okay. Absolutely nothing to do. Speaking of people that have nothing to do, there's a guy that lives across the way in my apartment, not in the building, like across the courtyard, like in another building. But I see him, and every day he sits on the couch watching TV. I feel bad for him. For years, like ever since I lived here, I'm looking out the window right now. Like he's always there. He's definitely retired. I have a whole story. Like he's definitely retired. He's white hair, full head of hair. Looks like he probably is a nice looking man. Has tons of books on the wall. He's always watching TV. Dinner at the TV, and it's sweet. Like if I could see out my living room window when I see him. I should say maybe it's like, how many feet is that? Maybe it's like 100 feet away from my window to his window. right? And he goes to bed like every night at like 11 o'clock. I see he turns out the lights. That's how I know. Okay, it's time for bed. This guy's sleeping. I want to set him up with somebody, but I don't know. I do also have a friend, by the way. I've reached out to a few people. So I'm just going to put it out here because I think that a lot of us are in New York that listen to this podcast. I have a friend and he's the best and he's in his 60s and he's looking to meet somebody. And if you DM me, I can tell you more information, not his name or what he does and all that, but he is looking to meet somebody. So if you know, or if you are a single woman and you want to meet somebody, I can be your love connection. Like I could be your Patty Stanger. Okay. I liked Patty Stanger, by the way. What happened to the Millionaire Matchmaker? You know what? The thing that annoyed me about Patty Stanger, she had the confidence for the Millionaire Matchmaker, but I felt there was I don't know. There was something I didn't love so much about it, about her. I shouldn't say that because we probably would be friends in real life. Sometimes with TV, you gotta like, they want you to be a little different, fun. But I did like the show. I like to see the matches. You know what it is actually? I think Patty just meddled too much in the matches that she used to do. And I think that she had to probably meddle now that I'm thinking it through because the guys, they're all freaking crazy. Like if you're 55 years old and you never met somebody and, you never settled down, you probably need somebody like Patty Stanger to push you along, to help you, expedite things. I mean, I know that's like the age of my boyfriend and God knows he desperately needs a Patty Stanger. God. Okay. We got to wrap this party bus up, but I will say this. When I went to Central Park on the weekend, I bought these inflatable loungers that everybody's using. And that's my product of the week. And well, I have two products of the week, but that this is like the real product. You know that at 106 episodes, you don't really see me talking about outdoor furniture or camping supplies. But this thing everybody has in Central Park, it's this outdoor inflatable lounger. You blow it up. It looks like a giant banana. And everybody just like lays on it in the park. And I always would walk by and thought, oh God, these people, they blow this thing up in their house and they drag it to the park and then they probably stick to it like grandmother's plastic sofa. Oof, couldn't think of anything worse. But can you imagine walking through the streets of Manhattan with a giant 9-foot banana, like what, on your shoulder, and you got the kids and the cooler? Like I can't even handle anything like that. Like I'm starting to get itchy. But once again, it had tons of reviews on Amazon and my kids like, we want it. So I was like, okay. I bought this. The brand is Wekapo or Wekapo. It's Wekapo, a pro. Just type in inflatable lounger. Wekapo will come up. It's $40. It's one of the more expensive ones, but I didn't want to deal with something that I was going to get blown up and then the hole was going to puncture, and it was going to get a hole puncture. It's a little crazy because you got... I did a video about it online. You got to run and you fill it up by running and catching the wind, which is just like the most ridiculous thing. I mean, I was literally running around in leopard palazzo pants in Central Park for an hour trying to catch the wind to blow up this goddamn inflatable lounger. But once we got it blown up, it was heavenly. I don't know. I mean, people have them at the beach, I know, but I think that it would get sandy and it probably would get a little messy. But if you don't like the sand, and you don't want to even sit in a chair, I mean, this is your solution right here. This is it. But for me, I don't want to be on the grass. I don't want ants. I don't want rat shit droppings all near my feet. This, I'm telling you, this chef's kiss. I am not going to go to the park with these kids without this thing. It's a little bit of a schlep, but you don't have to inflate it at home. That's the best part. It rolls up small. So that's my product of the week for this week. But the other thing is I'm reading this book and I think it's worth a read. If you like Everyone Loves Raymond, who doesn't love Raymond? Best show ever. Still watch the repeats. Phil Rosenthal, who wrote Everyone Loves Raymond, wrote a book a bunch of years ago, I think over 10 years ago. And it's called So You Think You're Funny. Hold on, I have it here. Wait, that's not the right title. What is it? Oh. You're lucky, you're funny. That's it. You're lucky, you're funny. You can buy the book on Amazon and I'm 30 pages in and I swear to God, I'm laughing out loud. I don't usually laugh out loud. In fact, if you're a comic listening to this, comedians, for whatever reason, like we don't laugh out loud a lot because I don't know, we're always around like funny, hilarious people. And we don't sometimes even laugh when we see our funny, hilarious people, comedian friends on the stage, probably because we heard their bits 90,000 times. But I picked up this book. I was like 30 pages, I don't know, 20 pages in, and I'm dying. I'm dying. It's so good. It's so good. You got to get it. And that's the guy, Phil Rosenthal. I think he now has a show on Netflix, like Phil's Gotta Eat, Someone Feed Phil. It's the same guy. And he's just the best. If I have a sitcom, I want him to write it with me. He's Jewish, and a lot of the Raymond characters were based on Ray's family, but were also based on Phil's family. And he's just hilarious. I got to find out more about him. I don't know more about him. Anyway, quote of the episode: you are always one decision away from a totally different life. Let's make it count, people. You don't want to be too anal, but of course, just a little bit keeps you on track. I'm Elyse DeLucci. Thank you for listening. Episode 106. I will talk to you. Oh my God, follow me online at TikTok, Elyse DeLucci, at Instagram, at Elyse DeLucci. And I have a YouTube channel now where I'm airing these episodes, so you can follow me there at Elyse DeLucci. I love you. Thank you for listening. I can't wait to talk to you next week. Mwah.